Welcome to Dice Control Dojo. I'm Phil, and I practice every day, and I share my tips so that we can all get better at the casino. Today we're going to talk about specific things. We're going to have a whole series on specifics. This one's picking up the dice. And I want to remind everybody that I'm not an expert on any of this. This is stuff I've learned through the years, through coaching, and I want to make sure that you understand that this is what I do and what I've heard from all these coaches and mentors over time. But I'm not an expert, so I'm just letting you know that I'm going over how I practice and what I do on a daily basis. So today we're going to talk about the pressure on the picking up the dice, how you should have no movement in it, and then how you need to relax so that you're picking up the dice in the right way. So, of course, every morning I use my gripper to make sure that I'm grabbing it at the right angle and picking it up. Then I'm putting some marks down so that I make sure I'm picking it up the same way each time. And I'm creating that angle that you're seeing there. Once I have that down, then I'm trying to grip it the same way each time. And just so I can show you what my goal is right now, if I can show you that my goal right now is to make sure that my middle finger is right on that dice right there. So that my middle finger, the end of my middle finger is on the three die pip, right? So that the pip is lined up with the angle. That seems to work best for me. And then my thumb angle, I'm trying to grip it so that it's generally around the 5 so that no pips are touched with my thumb. And that's how I grip it. And of course, I mark my lines so that it's the same way each time I'm picking it up. They're worn out a little bit, but that's where I pick up the dice. So this has changed a little bit over the years, but this is how I'm trying to pick up the dice. Now, when you practice it, you want to make sure it flows really well. So we're going to talk a whole thing on when they draw the dice to you, how you have to set quickly to get that 3s and 5s or your hard way set. But then when you go to pick it up, reset yourself so that you go in and line those pips up right where you want those pips to be. Okay? Now, when you go in at it, right, your hand's going to be relaxed, and we've changed over the years. I was straight on like this, right? And then you see the angle. My angle on my wrist was at an angle like that. So one of my coaches said, why don't we put that at like a 45-degree angle? So when you reach out at it, and I grab my pips, one, I can see my pips from this angle. And then when I do the conversion over, I can line up and make sure that I have a nice set right there. 3 fingers together, and I can grab it. Now, I'm grabbing it. I'm relaxing when I go to grab, and it's a nice relaxing grip up. All right? So I set my hands down. I know my shoulder comes in so I can keep my shoulder straight, but when I go to grab, I'm lining those pips up with my thumb and my middle finger. So when I convert over like this, it's the same way each and every time. Now my grip is nice and light. So if one of my coaches decided to do that, they should be able to bang out those dice. Now I'm gripping them a little harder right now because I'm trying to talk to you, but in a regular craps day, I'm going to grab them, spin them, and throw them. All right? So each day, when you're doing deliberate practice, you have to make sure you're working on that specific movement with your hands gently going at a 45-degree angle, getting the die the pips where you want them to be, and converting over. I have a nice light grip, so I grip with the 2 fingers first, and if you can see, I use this finger and the index finger to keep the dice tight. That's just what I do. A lot of people don't do that. They grip right off the bat like this, which is, they grab just like this, which is fine. I mean, you be you. But for me, I like to keep the dice tight, get the grip where I want it with the pinch, and then I come over so that the dice are aligned and they're nice and straight. So this is every morning I practice the relaxation of my wrist, and you can probably see it's still tense. It's still tense. I'm still trying to work that out. Even these years that I grab them and it's tense on my wrist. So it's a lot of relaxation, a lot of breathing techniques, especially when you're on the casino floor. You don't have the ability to take your time to do this. It's got to be a quick in and out, right? You got to do it quick. Grab and move so that you're in the second phase before you throw. So my pressure is light. You want to make sure you have those dice nice and tight together. So there's no movement. There's no movement in those dice. Those dice, no matter what I do, they're not wiggling. They're not loose. There's no separation between them. They're tightened together. And that's my goal. So when you're practicing, you got to practice every day to make sure you get that hard way set up as quick as possible. Grab those dice and come around. And you want to be thinking, is it a light pressure? Am I light? Can I grab those out? And if they're not, work on that. That's a daily workout, right? On making sure that pressure's right so your muscle memory will remember how fast you're working on that. So bring your dice up and together like this. So other people, I've had pincers before that I've used the 2 fingers. There's been people that use a whole variety of different ways of doing it. Regardless of how you grab your dice, what I'm trying to say is make sure that your goal is to be relaxed and quick, no matter what your grip is, so that you can get and release and get the goal of what you want. You want those dice to come out quick and release, and you want to be nice and relaxed. If you're too tense, too tight, your fingers aren't aligned properly, they're not together, you're going to have a whole variety of changes that is going to change the way the dice leaves your hands every day. So the grip, the pickup, then the grip, and then the turn, and then the major muscle group swing, all are a part of working on your day-to-day movements. And you have to work on them every day to get that muscle memory embedded in you. So when you get that casino, once again, it's a quick move, right? It's up, in, and throw. It has to be that quick, or they're going to take the dice from you. So you want to make sure your dice are going out as quickly as possible, and that's only through dedicated practice. So what did we learn today? Making sure that the dice are together. You have your set done, and you then reset. Grab your dice nice and light and do the turn. So you want your 3 fingers together. You want them lined up, and you want to be able to turn. Relax, and that the dice have no movement. You do that, and you'll have a very successful throw. So join me tomorrow. We're going to talk more about the grip. We're going to get specific on the grip and have a discussion about how that works. So remember, the best way to make money at the dice table is to throw for a long, long time.